So let's go to the documentation, and in components there should be something called forms. Okay, so these are forms which are used in Contact Us. What is a form? A form is, this is a login form to get the email and password. So these are forms like to give some text for the Contact Us buttons and those kinds of things. So I'll copy out this form. Okay, and right here in our Contact Us, in the second part, I'll copy this down, and always we have to align this one. Okay, so this is a form. The starting of the form tag is there and the closing of the form tag. So if you go ahead and refresh, now you can see a form like this. This side we will reserve it for Google Maps embed. Okay, so here we can input the email address, example, some multiple items, and we can just input something. So let's get started with editing this in order to make it as we want. Okay, so completely I don't want this drop down, so I will delete this drop down. Okay, you can delete this select option. I'll just delete it, and I'll copy this and paste it right here inside this div, which is form group. Before that, let me explain you what these things are. Okay, here is a form, a HTML starting tag, a HTML tag which is a form. A form is a special thing used in HTML which is to transfer some user inputted data to some other page. Okay, so in that page we can use this form data and we can send the email to the user, to this administrators of this website. Okay, so a label is something similar to a paragraph which we learned. So this div class form group means just a group where inside it contains this input type, input. So label is having this for section, a for property in HTML. A for property means inside this we have this example form control input. This label is referring to the ID of this input tag. That is what it is saying. This label is owned. This label is the label for this input tag. That is why it is saying for. Okay, so this is an input tag in HTML, which is the empty tag. Input tag is a place where we can input data, right, like this. So we can just input data there, but in Contact Us we cannot input it, it's just a text. The class form control, we used it earlier to match the complete width of the section, and the type is email, which means we have to enter an email there, not a text. We have to enter an email there. Okay, and this ID is, we can have any ID, you know, but so we will just have an ID as email, and even this label which, let's say the ID is email. Placeholder means name@example.com. Can you see if you refresh this? This original text which disappears when we start writing something, a text which disappears when we start writing something is known as placeholder text. Okay, so we can write anything here, not that name@example.com. We can just write something like write your email right here, no problem with that. Okay, if you click on this and if you start editing, it will disappear. See that? If you start writing some text, it will disappear. And then there's another form group where we have this drop down. So this label is similar, it is referring to the ID of this drop down. Select option is a HTML predefined method, a HTML predefined tag to define drop downs. That means if you want to click on this one, and if you want to have a drop down like this, it is HTML select an option. Okay, you're going to have the select and then option. Form control is, you know, in option you can write anything. Okay, any text you can write there. You can write some vehicle brands like BMW, Jaguar. You can write anything and those will be outputted there. Here we can write, yeah, Lamborghini, and you can have anything, you know, just Benz, and the fifth one would be something like here I would say Mercedes, and if you refresh, see, you get that. Even you can have the symbols and icons and anything. So this is called HTML select, which is a drop down. Okay, so if you want to enter something like the vehicle you are using, or for example which school you went, or for which city you are living in, then you can input this select in HTML. Okay, so we are done with this form group. The next thing is again a form group where we have the simple label, And again we have a select. There is a difference between the first select and the second select. That is only this word which is known as multiple. Multiple means in the first select we can only select one. Out of BMW, Jaguar, Lamborghini, we can only select either BMW, either Jaguar, either Lamborghini or Mercedes. But in this multiple select, with this multiple property, we can select 1, 2 and 3, all of them at the same time. That is multiple select in HTML. See that? Multiple. That is the different tag there. So we have this multiple different tags. See? Now you can simply select like 2 or 3 like that. By using shift, you can select many tags like this. See that? You can use command and shift and use many tags like this. Okay? So this would be helpful when you are making a professional website. And finally we have this again, a form group and also a label. And then we have something called a text area. A text area means we can enter many text, okay? So it is having a class which is form control, which is attaching to the total width, which means that it is taking for the total width of this div. And ID is simple ID. And rows is, what is important in text area is, you do not have only one line, but you have many lines. For example, in email, you have only one line, but in text area, you can enter multiple lines. See, you can increase the size like this. See that? You can increase the text size and any lorem ipsum can be loaded up into this text area. If you say that you need 10 rows, it would be something like this. If you say you need 100 rows, it will give you 100 rows like this. Okay? If you want one row, either then you can get just one row. So that is a text area. I want to talk further about this email, type email. What type email does is that the user can only input an email there. Okay? If you just put text there, that means the user can input any text. If you write the type is a number, then the user can only input a number. If you write the type is a file, then you can get a file as an input. Okay?